U.S. History, Chapter 2, Section 1, Union Crisis. Slavery in the West became as a major issue in 1800s. A Pennsylvania congressman proposed the Women Provincial, which helped spur the rise of anti-slavery political parties. In 1848, Free Soil Party, an anti-slavery party, had the motto of free soil, free speech, and free labor. And this picture is the cartoon for the Women Provincial. Congress passed Compromise 1850, which admitted California as a free state. In the rest of the territory, voters were to decide whether or not to allow slavery, and this approach became known as popular sovereignty. The Compromise of 1850 also ended the Missouri Compromise be permitting slavery north. And this picture is for the Compromise of 1850. In 1854, Congress again tried to settle the issue of slavery in the West by passing the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which divided the Nebraska Territory into Kansas and Nebraska. This is a picture for that map. In 1857, a Supreme Court decision widened the current divisions over slavery. To oppose this, slave Dred Scott sued for his freedom. But the court made a sweeping ruling in Dred Scott's favor instead, which declared African Americans were not citizens and therefore they had no rights to sue the courts. And the black person is a Dred Scott, and the symbol with the falcon is for the Supreme Court. The 1858 Senate race in Illinois crystallized the slavery issue for many Americans. At a series of debates, Republican Abraham Lincoln challenged Democratic Stephen Douglas, architect of the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Though Douglas won the Senate race, but the debates helped Lincoln win national attention. And these pictures are for the Abraham Lincoln. In 1859, abolitionist John Brown planned to lead a revolution that would destroy slavery in the South, but his plan failed. Even though he failed, his defense of his actions made him a heroic martyr to the anti-slavery cause. And this guy is John Brown. The issue of slavery was so diverse in 1860 that the Democratic Party nominated different candidates in the South and North. With the election of 1860, each of the four candidates won support in different regions and split the nation in two. And yeah, this is the map that each candidate won. To Southerners, the election was a clear sign that the more populous free states were now in a position to control national politics. In 1860, a convention in South Carolina declared to become the first state to secede, or to break away from the Union. 6 other states soon then joined South Carolina to establish the Confederate States of America. Yeah, this is an image of the secede if you want to know easier. In 1861, Confederate Fort Sumter was taken over by Confederate, which marked the start of the Civil War. Section 2, the Civil War. Each North and South had goals. For the North, they had goals to protect the Union, arguing that no state had no rights to secede. And for the South, they had goals to secede or gain independence completely from the Union. For the North, they had advantages with well-organized railroad networks, banking system, navy, etc., etc. But at the same time, they also had disadvantages, which was that Northern only had about 60,000 men in the Union Army, and the South owned skilled military leaders, such as Robert E. Lee, who is this guy. and each of the nations also had strategies to win the war. For the South, they were to just survive the battle until Northerners get tired and leave with them. For the North, they had a plan called Anaconda Plan, which was a strategy to starve the South by shutting the route to send resources. Yeah, no one can win against the starving, I guess. During the war, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation to end slavery, and it became a turning point to encourage slaves to run away and destroy the meaning of war. Yeah, the picture at the right and left, it both has the pictures of Lincoln. As war dragged on, some Northerners opposed Lincoln's conduct of the war and demanded immediate peace. Habeas corpus was introduced to solve and to suspend the constitutional right, and it guarantees that no one can be held in prison without charges. These two cartoons are for the habeas corpus that suspended the constitutional right. War destroyed the South's traditional agricultural strengths, and because of that, there was inflation occurring and many people went starving during the war. The Union wins victory. Louisiana side, Union of General Ulysses S. Grant won 5 victories in 3 weeks. 3 weeks! Can you believe that? It's so short! And in the Gettysburg side, Union defeated Robert Lee's troops in what called Battle of Gettysburg. After the war, Lincoln went to help dedicate the battle cemetery by making a speech called Gettysburg Address. And the guy at the right side is Ulysses, and the picture at the left is the battle in the Gettysburg. In 1864, as part of total war, Union General William Sherman and his troops went destroying through Georgia and South Carolina. In 1865, Union troops captured the Confederate capital and the war ended. Yeah, this guy is a William Sherman. Section 2, Reconstruction Era. Whoops. Shortly before the war ended, Lincoln and Congress agreed on the Freedmen's Bureau, a federal agency designed to aid freed slaves and relieve the South's immediate needs. It provided healthcare and school systems to both black and white. It reunited slave families that were separated during the war, and it provided fair negotiations between slave and landowner. And this cartoon is for the Freedmen's Bureau. After Lincoln was assassinated in 1865, Vice President Andrew Johnson became president under Johnson's plan. The South had to accept 13th Amendment, which ended the slavery. Congress of radical Republican, however, opposed, but wanted to punish the South instead. In 1868, Congress voted Johnson for impeachment, an act removed from office. Though Johnson won the vote, he had lost the control of Reconstruction by that time, and Ulysses was elected to president instead. Yeah, the guy at the right side is the Johnson, and the picture at the left top is during the picture of the impeachment, and the left picture at the bottom is the 13th Amendment of the image. After Congress went under control of radical Republicans, 14th Amendment was passed, which gave full citizenships and rights to every person born in America in 1868. In 1870, 15th Amendment was passed by Congress, which gave male citizens the rights to vote. These are the pictures for the 14th and 15th Amendment. Though the slaves were freed and given the rights, the Ku Klux Klan, an organized secret society, used terror tactics or violence to keep African Americans from voting, and it continued until Congress passed laws to make as crimes to violate it to prevent from voting. And the picture at the middle top is the symbol of the Ku Klux Klan. In 1872, Congress dissolved the Freedmen's Bureau. Meanwhile, Democrats in the South started to regain political powers. And in the election of 1874, the Republicans lost control of the House of Representatives. In the presidential election of 1876, Democratic won more votes than Republic, and signaled the end of Reconstruction era. And during that, only 3 southern states, Florida, South Carolina, and Louisiana, were left to be controlled by Republican Reconstruction governments. And yeah, this is the picture during that voting. In Radical Republic as failure or success. Some historians say that Radical Republic was a failure because the political rise of African America was corrupted, and soon de jure segregation or legal separation of the race became the law in all southern states. But they say that they had success by marking the beginning of the physical economic rebuilding of the South, and South and North nations reunited, and the 14th Amendment as became the basis for the civil rights movement. Yeah, these are the sources that they used to collect the informations. Thank you. Finish.